Welcome back. Now we are going to read about the second subtopic of circulation, that is entrance. As you all know, what is an entrance? It is just a gateway to any building, or it is just a doorway to any building. Entering a building, a room within a building, or a defined field of exterior space involves the act of penetrating a vertical plane that distinguishes one space from another. That means an entrance. It is a vertical plane. Yeah, actually, it is a vertical plane that distinguishes one space from another. Like it distinguishes the exterior space from the interior space, or the outside space from the inside space. Now, it is also written, if you see, it separates here from there. That means it separates inside or outside, or exterior to interior. The act of entering can be signified in more subtle ways than punching a hole in a wall. So it can be a hole in the wall, like you have a doorway, or it can be a gateway, like you have seen you're walking along a path in a lawn or in a garden, and then you find some form of gateway in the form of portal frame or any truss frame. So you will tend to find it as a gateway or an entrance to from for the space where you are going to enter to. So it may be a passage through an implied plane established by two pillars or an overhead beam. So that means when you are having only two pillars, it does not signify much. It does not give much importance to the entrance. But as soon as you give a beam, a horizontal beam to the two pillars, add to the two pillars, it defines it in a better manner. It defines it in a way that it completes the sense of an entrance. In situations where greater visual and spatial continuity between two spaces is desired, even a change in level can establish a threshold and mark the passage from one place to another. And sometimes you might see that when we are walking along any path, we are walking on any ground, and you have some level up raised somewhere, so you might find it as a entrance, or maybe you find it as a walkway which leads to some place. So that can be a guiding element in the field. Now, the normal situation, it can be a puncture in the wall. You can articulate the puncture through some projection or frame or some architrave around the puncture itself. An entrance is accommodated by an opening in the plane of the wall, like it is shown in the images. The form of the opening, however, can change from a simple hole in the wall to an elaborate articulated gateway. So here, like you see, a lot of articulation is there by way of adding these pillars, beams, etc., etc. So you are going to basically and making it more loud so that people see the entrance better. Regardless of the form of the space being entered, or the form of its enclosure, the entrance into the space is best signified by establishing a real or implied plane perpendicular to the path of the approach. So you see the entrance best when you are having a frontal approach to any building, because the entrance is at 90 as perpendicular. It is right perpendicular to your axis. So now if you see, this is the frontal approach to any building, and you are having the entrance right at 90 degree to your pathway or to your approach, everywhere. So if you are entering it sideways or in an oblique manner, you might not find it like that relevant to enter to. So the architects or we people, we had been, you know, defining the entrances in our own languages, depending on the projects which we do, depending on the buildings which we make. Like this could be read as a normal door, normal entrance door to any room from the corridor. This could not be a normal entrance door from any room, for any room from the corridor, but it could be a entrance to any building, right? Because this is having some projection and which is supported by certain set of columns. So it is protruded. It is something like which is protruding from the face of the building. But here if you see, this is something like which is recessed in the building. So once like you have some recess or projection, you are tend to form, you know, some kind of shade and shadow effect into that area. So by way of, you know, having that shade and shadow effect, you are going to bring surface articulation into place, and through that surface articulation you are going to read the type of entrance or the entrance to any building. The entrance could also be defined by way of the shape which is given to it. Say this is a circular entrance, or it can contrast with the form of the space to reinforce its boundaries, and it emphasizes its character as a place. So here you are seeing the entrances designed in a very, if you see in the plan, it would be like a porch, which would be a circular porch for the square building. Now this itself means that you are going to bring some say you are going to capture the eye in a way like you are making it more attractive, where you are not making it square on square, but you are making it circle on square. So automatically with the change in the shape, you tend to bring focus into picture. So through focus, like you are highlighting this entrance part. In terms of location, an entrance can be centered within the frontal of the building or be placed off center to create a condition of local symmetry about its opening. The location of the entrance relative to the form of the space being entered will determine the configuration of the path and the pattern of the activities within the space. So that means like if you see this particular image, you will find that it is a normal row of columns which are or you can say it is a normal colonnade in the front, in the building facade. And here like the normal colonnade is broken by way of adding this arch to it. So automatically this arch, it will define the entrance to the building. Now if you see, this is not centered, because this particular dormer window is more centered. So here the entrance is not centered, but yet the entrance is defined by the shape given to it, right? Usually like the eye reads the entrance in the center more effectively than on the side or off center. The notion of an entrance can be visually reinforced by making the opening lower, wider, narrower than anticipated. That means if the say you are having an entrance into the building in this form, it is not a regular form where like you are having a regular opening for people to pass, but this is slightly low, stunted. It will give you a very stunted feeling when you are going to enter into this building, but yet it is going to be more attractive. It is going to gain attention, because this is not usual. This is also not usual. See the building scale and see the entrance, or it can be a narrow street in some um, say society. So if you are having narrow street, so you will tend to have like more attention, pay more attention, because this is not something like which is usual, right? Make the entrance deep or circuitous, like you have this. It is recessed. Articulating the opening with ornamentation or decorative embellishment here. So you are articulating the building. Articulating, this is surface articulation only, where you are bringing more ornamentation around the entrance. So in order to like gain more attention. So here are few examples. Uh, so this is the Venice, where like you alight at this portion and then you go into the piazza here from the this water body. Now this is like one of the entrances in Japan, where you will see a set of columns support which are further articulated by the beam. This is again a narrow entrance as compared to the say the extent of building mass. If you see the extent of building mass, you will find it like more narrower. Say it is written also, a curving drive leads to an entranceway for automobiles, while the front door to the interior of his residence is in a entry court beyond. So the entry to the building may be beyond this porch, but from far if you see, so you are finding this porch to be serving as the entry into the building, right? So this is what we see first. First we see the porch, so this is automatically going to define the entry. The entrance facade operates at two scales here. See, one scale is here. If you see the whole building, this I think it is a church. If you see the whole building, you will see that this central part is little elevated and little loud by way of these double height columns and pediment on top with more of articulation. So this will serve as the entrance to the building. But if you go further, you will find another entrance, which is the size of the scale of the person. But here the entrance is at the scale of the building. So they are having two entrances. The entrance facade operates at two scales. It is at two scales, not two entrances, but at two scales. Now see this Chandigarh Legislative Assembly building. The entrance colonnade is scaled to the public nature of the building. So this is the entrance colonnade, which is scaled so much that if you see the human scale, it is so loud because you are going to enter into a public building, which is part of the capital complex of Punjab. It is not a normal house. If you are having a normal house, then you will find the scale to be, the entrance scale to be of that sort. But here you are entering into the administrative building, so you are going to have that kind of scale. So you can go through the other examples also. See how they are the architects, they define the entrances through articulation. See, doorways, the pediments, the brackets, the ornamentation, arches, and this is all about entrance now. So, but